So I have a weird video idea today. Everyone in this franchise, is 5 years old. See, if you reset the years back to like 20 years old of players in a franchise, sometimes it makes the player not retire because, they're resetting their years. So my question is today, if I make everyone 5 years old, at what point will players start to retire? So, first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to sim 5 years in the future. Because this is more or less of a, how well these players do. Because, listen, at the end of the day, age doesn't really matter as much in Madden outside of retirement. This video is more or less just about at what point will players retire, and could, in theory, every player play for the next 30 years. Now, Madden franchise only, I believe, lets you go 30. It used to be 15 years. I think now it's like 30 years. But, guys, I'll be right back. We're going to sim 5 years in the future. All right, so after the first season, I know I say I'm going to sim 5 years in the future, but I am going to take a look at this after every single season to see if any player retires. And it looks like 0 players retired after the first season, which is a little strange because usually players do retire, which means in theory, what we're doing here could actually work out and actually last a very long time. So I just wanted to kind of look at the first season to see if anything weird happens. It's Madden. Anything weird could happen, but I'll check back with you guys after 4 more years. All right, so we're in 2029, and we're actually on week 15. So 5 years in the future, I want to see. Yep, all my players are exactly 10 years old. And by the way, no, nobody has retired in that last 10-year period. So we are all still 10 years old. This is quite the interesting endeavor, I will say. So it looks like this is like, players will not retire, which means, in theory, yes, the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, by the way. They also lost to it last year. They also went ahead and the Texans won the Super Bowl. And then the Cowboys won before. And then the Ravens beat the 49ers again because apparently we just repeat Super Bowls. This means, in theory, these players will stay in this franchise and keep playing as long as the season goes. I'm sorry, as long as the franchise goes. Which, again, like I said before, I believe it used to be 15 years. I think they now make franchises that last 30 years. So, in theory, if I do 30 years, the players will all be 35 years old. Which some will retire like at 30 or 31, 32. That's the part of football. But for the most part, no one else will retire, which is interesting. Even if here's the thing though, right? Players don't just retire because of age. Sometimes they retire, obviously injured, but this is Madden. This is not real life. Sometimes, and again, nobody retired. Sometimes players retire because they don't get signed. If you don't get signed to anyone's squad and you just don't want to be in free agency forever. So some players retire because they don't want to be a free agent forever. That's going to be an interesting situation. But let's go ahead and sim 5 more years, guys. All right, so we are another 5 years in the future because I kind of want to see where everyone's at. Now, with the fact that I guess no one's going to retire in any way possible, what this means now is that players are going to start moving around the league, including not Patrick Mahomes, who's 15 years old. Mitchell Trubisky, though, is going to be a Chief. So let's see where everyone's at. So Josh Allen is still there. Joe Burrow is still okay. So some of these guys are still with their said establishments. Aaron Rodgers is still in the league. At this point, we're 15 years in the future. So he's the equivalent of like 55, 57 years old, I think. Tua's on the Steelers at this point. Caleb Williams is still in the Bears. Andrew Luck, I don't know how he's... Oh, wait, no, I added him back in the league last video. Well, anyway, he's actually in the league again. Let's just side note there. Justin Herbo. Wait. Hold up. No, I added him last video, but then I reset this roster, so somehow he came back in the league. Herbo is on the Chargers still. Kirko's still on the Falcons, 15 years in the future. Matthew Stafford's still 15 years in the future here. So let's just go through these teams real fast, and then we're going to go to different positions. Here's the really interesting scenario. So usually how franchises work is in Madden is that these teams, players retire, you replace players with new players. So it's this never-ending cycle of like, okay, well, in 10, 15 years, like 10 years like this, there's new players. Like, you're expecting to see new faces, new names. Well, when they all started at 5 years old, that's not the case. So, yeah, a lot of these guys, the Bengals got Zay Flowers? No, Zay Jones. It's definitely not Zay Flowers. Barely, I can't read today as well. Ravens still got Zay Flowers. It's amazing how 15 years in the future, a lot of these guys are still on their said respected teams. That does not happen often in Madden. If you guys have played Madden franchise mode, you know how much players leave their said teams. Like, if you ever think there's loyalty in the NFL, there's no loyalty in Madden franchise mode. Players leave their teams left, right, and center. You'll see like a star quarterback leave his team after one season. If he doesn't get the money he wants or he doesn't get what he wants, he does not want to stay on his said team. Trent Brown is still actually at 96 overall. So here's the next factor I want to talk about. As you know, players progress, right, throughout the time. Right? They get higher overalls by getting XP and then getting better and better and better. Well, usually a player retires. But because these guys are not retiring, there's no real way to stop them from constantly just progressing very high up. Also, kind of weird how I haven't seen any like make-believe players yet, like, made-up players. And I'm kind of thinking the reason why is because there's no real reason. I guess that's a made-up player right there, but there's really no reason to replace your starters. And if they're all getting better and better and better and better and better, then replacing guys is kind of pointless if you think about it. So what ends up happening is new players come in the league, they never get enough playing snaps or snaps to get better. So then they just endlessly kind of stay at the bottom of the league while these veterans, I guess you could call veterans of 15 years old, get the actual play time. This is such a weird concept. So they never get better, so they always stay bad. And then these veterans always stay at the top of the list. Yeah. Interesting. All right. So let's see who won the Super Bowl in the last set amount of years. The Packers won. Okay. Packers won back-to-back Super Bowls. The Ravens won again. The Packers lost to the Jets. The Packers won again. Apparently, we're just defaulting to the fact that the Packers are going to win like 7 Super Bowls. So, Packers won 3 Super Bowls out of the last 5 seasons. Packers are now officially a super team at this point, but let's just skip another 5-10 years, guys. Hang on. Alright, so we are now 10 years in the future, okay? Patrick Mahomes is still on the roster. He is... Well, we're technically 10 years in the future of our last update. But we're 20 years in the future of this franchise, if that makes sense. Patrick Mahomes still on the roster, Isaiah Pacheco, all the guys still on the roster because they're now just 25 years old. Travis Kelce's still on the roster. This is so strange. Again, like I said, I go into these videos and I don't really know what to expect. But, yeah, this is... Wait, hold up. Where's Lamar Jackson? Oh, he's right there. Okay. I was like, there are so many 99s. Holy. Oh my god. Why is there so many 99s? I guess because they played for so long. They're now all 99 overalls. This is weird. Yeah, I guess because they played for 20 years and they get like XP every year and they're young. They all became 99s. Is this like the whole entire league? Wait, hold up. What is going on here? Now I'm kind of completely confused. So all of these players are 99 overalls now. There are some 98s and 97s. But because they've been in the league for 20 years and they have been progressing and getting better and they're young, they have all went up to 97, 98, and 99 overall players. Wow. Okay. So, to the point, and I'm pretty sure now at this point, so what, we're 20 years in this franchise. I think the franchise can only go 30 years. Every team has pretty much a 99 overall squad. Because they have all these 99s. So, my guess is 25. They're all 25 right now. They'll probably all play for another 10 years before they're all going to retire. And this league is going to become very weird because, you know, everyone's going to retire at once. So, I don't know how long this franchise can... I think it's 30 years. But it might be less than that. And I'm going to sim another 10 years because I'm just interested in seeing how this works. But before we do that, let's go and take a look at our league's... not transaction, excuse me. Let's go to our league history. And I just want to see who has won the Super Bowl, who's been killing it. Okay, the Commanders won the Super Bowl, the Jets won the Super Bowl, the Cowboys did, the Bengals did, the Chiefs did. At this point, everyone has won the Super Bowl, I feel like, in the NFL. The Lions did, the Ravens did again, Steelers did again, the Packers, the Chargers, the Packers again. Yeah, the Packers just literally went on a tear for a very long time. The Jets won the Super Bowl. Okay, I think we're kind of where we were before. Alright, I'm going to sim 10 years because I just want to see this whole entire league collapse at the end. Hang on. Alright, so you can only go technically 50 years in the future, it looks like. And am I going to be able to see like everything here? Let me see. So, okay, I can't click on anything. Okay, there we go. Let me go. Can I go to league history? Okay, I can't click on league history. I couldn't click on stats, though. So, all of these guys are still technically in the league. Like Caleb Williams here, who is technically 33 years old. So, nobody retired. That's what I'm getting out of all this. In 50 years, pretty much, nobody retires. Everyone's still in the league. Patrick Mahomes is 29 years old. This is kind of crazy, to be honest. And obviously, the experience level, how many years they've been in the league, technically, like the experience, doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It doesn't change anything. But, yeah, no. He's still in the league, Aaron Rodgers. Even though he's 38 years old right now. He was 38 years old in 2023. So, it doesn't show you his whole entire career. It only goes back as far as 2035. So, it won't go back all the way to 2024 when I started this franchise. This is interesting. So, this is your... If you make every single player 5 years old, how it will end up. What ends up happening is nobody retires ever. And every single player becomes a 99 overall. Because, you know, logic. This is weird. I mean, Matthew Stafford's like at this point, Aaron Rodgers is 80 years old. Like, just put that in, like, kind of context, guys. Rodgers is 80 years old in this franchise at this time. That's how crazy that is. Alright, guys. Tell me down below your thoughts. I just love how all these players stayed on their said respective teams. Like, they never left their respective teams. They just said, well, most of them. Some of them did. But most of them was like, nope, we're going to just stay on whatever team we feel is the best for us. And at this point, now all the coaches got fired because, you know, the league ended. Players got signed, but nobody in the end. Well, the only players who retired as coaches because the league's ended. That is absolutely insanity. Can I check this? Okay, so Baltimore won again. The Vikings won. The Bengals lost to the Lions. The Chiefs won. The Packers won. The Commanders won. The Eagles won. The Jets won. The Cardinals won. Commanders, Jets, Cowboys, Bengals won. Chiefs won. Everyone in, like, I feel like every team has won in this franchise at this point. Maybe not every team, but still. Chargers won. A lot of teams won. The Packers went on their own little dynasty run for a little bit of time. The Jets did as well. Yeah. Tell me down below your thoughts, opinions.